Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alon Pillay. I am a undergraduate at the University of Denver studying marketing. And today I'm going to be talking to you about a South by Southwest session that I attended. And the title of the session was VR to Treat the Universal Human Experience of Pain. It was a panel-style conversation with Beth Darnell, who is a VR researcher at the Stanford University. Tom Norris, who is a retired serviceman in the USAF. Andriy Ostrovsky, who works for Social Innovation Ventures, and Charlize Sparks, who works at Applied VR, which is a company that is currently working on introducing virtual reality for pain management. And the conversation was really interesting. It was really good to see them bring in somebody who actually has personal experience using virtual reality. Tom Norris, who was injured in the line of duty, has been experiencing nerve pain for, most of his life, and the way that he described it is, excruciating pain all the time from basically the neck down, and basically all the doctors would ever do for him is throw medications his way, and there are some good pharmacological medications for pain management, but for a lot of people, those don't do anything really, especially when it's, central nervous system damage. I mean, that's permanent stuff. That's a leak in the pipes, and it can't be, mended by pouring soda, down the drain. So, what they were trying to do was prove that, virtual reality can actually be used as a medication for pain management, and part of the way that they were doing that was through experiences with essentially a therapist walking you through a visualized strategy for managing your pain. So, a lot of the cognitive behavioral therapy for managing pain comes from, like mental strategies. And Applied VR, so Charlize was talking a lot about how, it's very difficult to do this and to develop these things because there's a lack of funding, and also regulations are really, really strict with anything related to healthcare. And so they are doing something that's never been done before, and they're essentially paving the way for other virtual reality companies who want to get FDA approval, because they're the first VR company that has gotten FDA approval. And right now they're only approved for use for lower back pain, but she made it quite clear that while technically she's only allowed to say that, really, there are many other uses for this. They're fairly confident that it'll be really effective in treating other types of pain. And the cool thing about this is that other cognitive behavioral therapies and medications only work for a very short period of time. Any sort of heavy pain medication, you take it and in a couple hours you're right back to where you started. But with virtual reality, they were seeing pain reduction, 2 months, 6 months, and even 2 years recorded out from treatment. But back to the regulation side of things, they're really first movers in this space. And so the decisions they make are going to be really critical because it's going to be they're a role model, a guide book for other virtual reality companies that want to get into this space, but are too afraid to seek FDA approval so it can be used as an actual medication, be prescribed, and then doctors can be reimbursed for using it. And this sort of creates a cycle of doctors being willing to use these methods to help with pain management. Because right now other companies are just being used, they're being labeled as a therapeutic treatment, which doesn't require any sort of FDA approval or use with a physician. So but again, they're not being paid for that, so and it's not being validated in clinical trials and with physician use cases. So this is going to be really important, but it provides a unique marketing perspective or a challenge because a lot of these people with chronic pain are service members and people who are working in very physical and labor intensive areas like construction, for example, and it was sort of talked about that their demographic might be a little bit more adverse to trying virtual reality, as it's a new technology, and it doesn't really seem like it would be so effective, especially since all they've been hearing throughout their pain journey is medication. And so right now they're trying to figure out what the messaging is going to be to convince people to try this type of treatment. And that was sort of the question that was left off at the end of the session. And Tom Norris, who was the retired Armyman who was injured, who had been using virtual reality and said that it was really, really helpful, is working with over 400 people to try and get them involved in these virtual reality clinical trials and to show them that he doubted it and he tried it and it really worked. And Charlize from Applied VR said it's extremely important, and the main marketing driver here is going to be testimonials is really the most powerful marketing tool that they can use for this. So I just thought that this was extremely interesting because it's kind of opening up the a new sector for virtual reality, and these people are really paving the way in the conversation in the business world. So curious to see where this goes, but for now it's still kind of an open book. So we'll see. Thanks.